Hello friends, good afternoon. This is Sandeep Sharma from Kabil Bano. I hope all of you are doing fine. So today we would be starting the first of the series of 12 webinars which would be organized for students. So as we had said that these webinars would be conducted by industry professionals and they would be sharing a lot of information and experience which they have gone through. So today we have the pleasure of having Mr. Jainendra Trivedi. He is an industry veteran. He is currently working as the General Manager, Strategy and Planning for Swan Energy in Ahmedabad. And his educational background is really excellent. He has a BTech degree from IIT Bombay in chemical engineering. And after that, he started his own firm in research, in India research. He was there with the firm for 3 years, and then he joined the Swan group. So currently, he is with that same group. He also has an MBA from an internationally acclaimed business school, which is EDHEC Business School, which is ranked very, very high in entire European region as well as in France. So we have the pleasure of Mr. Trivedi. Mr. Trivedi, thank you so much for giving us the time and for accepting our request to talk to the students for 1 hour. Thank you so much for your time. I would now request Mr. Trivedi to please take on the control of the portal and speak to the students. Over to you, Mr. Trivedi.
Thanks for the introduction, Sandeep. It's a pleasure to be here and interact with the students there. I've been told that most of the students here today are from engineering background, and so I'll try to keep the focus of my webinar on the engineering side rather than on the arts or maybe business side. So I've made a small presentation for this webinar. I'll share with you guys this presentation and then we can go ahead with that. Okay. So Sandeep, now everybody knows your secret. Where did you get this word from? Kabil Bano, this phrase.
Yes, Mr. Trivedi. In fact, during the numerous seminars that we have organized for the students, we tell them that this is the first line. Okay, have you guys seen Three Idiots movie? And then we really ask them, okay, what was the famous dialogue from the movie Three Idiots? And this is the dialogue that they come up with. So this is not really a secret.
I didn't know that, huh? Anyways.
This is not
so, but I don't know which of these two spellings of Kabil is right. K-A-B-I-L or K-A-A-B-I-L? Which one do you use?
K-A-A.
Okay. All right. So yeah, here it is. My introduction Sandeep has already given you. I'm currently working as General Manager Planning and Strategy at Swan Energy.
So, Mr. Trivedi, can you please put that presentation on PowerPoint mode? Full screen mode.
It's on a full screen mode.
Okay.
I think there's a small lag there. And
okay. Sure. Okay. Fine. Please continue.
Got to the second slide?
Yes.
Okay, great. So this is a small brief about me. I'm a chemical engineer. I done my BTech from IIT Bombay. In 2006, I completed my BTech. After that, I worked as first entrepreneur and then entrepreneur. I don't know how many of you guys are familiar with the word entrepreneur. I'm sure everybody knows what entrepreneur is, but how many of you are familiar with the word entrepreneur? I'll try to explain it here in a very short manner. Entrepreneur is someone who takes initiatives just like an entrepreneur, but rather than for his own company, he does this for someone else, as in is a bigger company, because a lot of time people don't have resources to start their own company. And in that, let's say you are working for IBM, you are working on a very advanced technology, and it's probably not possible for you to have the resources to work on that technology on your own. So you get all the resources from IBM, and there you work as an entrepreneur, where you put in your all the efforts as good as you would have done as an entrepreneur. So that's an entrepreneur. So I mean, there's no such designation as entrepreneur, but it's the temperament and the way you work in a big organization that is entrepreneur. All right. So as an entrepreneur, I started two companies. First one was called CamSol, where I was the proprietary, no co-founder, no private limited, nothing, just me. And I started a company. And I used to hire a few consultants for small work there. So it was mostly a chemical process consultancy firm where I would use to suggest process improvisation or solve problem for mid and small scale industries, chemical industries. So this thing went on for around 8, 9 months, and then I co-founded another company with my colleagues from IIT Bombay. The company was named India Research Solutions Private Limited. So this was a little different kind of business, which was not very prevalent at that time in India. And it was patent research and legal solutions kind of firm. And since patent was and intellectual property rights were not very active in India at that time, even now it is not that active, but still much better than in 2007 or 6. So most of our clientele was from US, Europe, and Australia and the Southeast. Okay. So a lot of people ask me question, why did I move from my own company to get into co-founder? And this is something I'm going to cover later in the presentation also, why it is very important to have a co-founder, and if you want to be an entrepreneur and not go by your own alone. So we'll talk about it later on in the presentation. Then I worked as an entrepreneur, and that was with Swan Energy Limited, where I've been and still working on a very large project, big mega project. That's LNG import project here. It's around $1.5 billion project in India, and it's the first of kind in India. Then I worked in the textile division for some time, and I also was taking care of a sister concern of Swan Energy, which was called Good Earth Commodities Private Limited, where I developed new business for the company, ran the business, operated the business, and made it profitable. All right. So I hope you are on the slide number 3, which is Swan Group, introduction to Swan Group. Sandeep, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Mr. Trivedi, but all of us can see slide number 2 right now.
Okay, I have moved on to slide number 3. I wait till you get to see that slide.
Okay, sure. Yeah, no, we still can't see slide number 3.
I am on slide number 3. Maybe I'll just.
Yes,
Okay,
now it is there. Yes, yes.
Great. So this is a brief introduction about the Swan Group. We have got different divisions in our company. One is textile, real estate, the LNG division, mining division, energy supply division. And of course, we have a couple of sister concerns which do different works. One is into electronics and one is into international trade and recycling business. The Good Earth is into international trade recycling, which I developed. And there's one which does the smart meters for smart grids and all. So that's Amitech. So in textile, we have a processing plant here in Ahmedabad, which has a capacity of 100,000 meters per day. Then we have a lot of real estate projects across India in Mumbai, Goa, Bangalore, Mangalore, Ahmedabad, and recently starting in Chennai and north of India. And this LNG port is there, which is first of its kind in India, the first floating LNG port, and which has an overall capacity of 10 million tons per annum of import of LNG. Then we have mining businesses in Ahmedabad and around, and in Gujarat in general. Then we have energy supply businesses where we supply energy as in oil and gas, LNG, etc. In different countries. Okay. So, coming to the essence of this presentation today, I think it's not really to introduce myself or the my company where I, but more of doing with what the companies in general need and what you want to do with your career in future. So, as a student, I think most of you are in your final year of studies in engineering, and I think some of you might be in the dilemma that you should you go for your own business or become an entrepreneur, or should you go for a corporate job or somewhere. And a lot of people face this dilemma in their final year. And I'll tell you, I mean, one of the best phases to start your own company is this phase where you don't have any expectations. Nobody has expectation from you as much, and you don't have much of responsibility of your family and all. And you have a very high energy to perform. You have a passion to do things. So, Sandeep, can you see the next slide? Becoming an entrepreneur now.
Yes, Mr. Trivedi, please go on. We can see that slide.
Okay, great, great. All right, so here is a small illustration of what is the life in corporate and what is in startup. I'm not saying any of these life is not good or bad in comparison to each other, but it is the personal choice of a person. So if you want to be an entrepreneur, there'll be a lot of hard work initially, and of course, this might or might not pay well. And if it does pay well, I mean monetarily, in your life, it will of course pay you well. As a person, you will of course be very different, but monetarily, it might or might not. There's a huge stake on your future. There's a huge gamble here. You know, sometimes startups work really well, sometimes they just have to be shut down, you know. But so this is the kind of life you have to face, and you are at the cusp of facing this kind of life. So as a startup, you'll have to work really hard initially, and finally at some time in future you might be reaping the fruits. Just like, you know, it's like I think people here know how a plant is raised. You put in the seeds, you put in a lot of water which creates a lot of humidity, and there's the sun on the top of it, and it creates a lot of heat inside the seed, and that seed bursts. So this is what really happens in a startups. Initially, you work for 16, 18 hours. You don't have money to spend. You are living on vada paos and cutting chai, and you probably don't have a really good house. And most of the time, you just go there for 4 hours to sleep and come back and start working on it. And at the same time, other people who from your batch or your friends who might have joined corporates might be earning really good, and they are leading a good life. And then all these things happen, but you have to be very focused and passionate about what you are doing. And maybe 5 years or 10 years down the line, the situation might be completely opposite. You know. All right. So are we on the next slide, Sandeep, now?
Not yet, so we can't see the next slide as of now. Yes, now we can see that.
No. Okay. So every time I think I'll have to exit from the full screen and then come back to full screen. All right. So at this stage, how do you know that are you the entrepreneur or you are someone who must work for a company? I mean, of course, it's not the only stage. You can do whatever you want to with your career at any point of time in your life, but this is very critical stage, because what you do right now shapes your career for a very major part. You know, you can change always, but this is very important because this will decide where you go, what your thought process becomes in your life, right? And that thought process will govern your future life. So this is a very small illustration here, and which says 9 signs that you might be an entrepreneur. The might word is very important here. It does not necessarily mean that you have these 9 signs of let's say 6 out of these 9 signs, that means you are an entrepreneur and you'll be a successful entrepreneur. But this says you might be an entrepreneur if you have all these 9 signs. What they say is you hate the status quo. You don't really like what happens and what is actually happening, and then you think that there should be some change in what is happening. You don't really like things going as it is. You easily get bored of the things, or what you do. You are labeled as a rebel, and this for me is a very important sign. Very important sign. Unless people say you are crazy, you are not rational. I think when people say that you are crazy, you are not rational, you are not doing things in a normal way, because there's nothing like normal. If somebody say you are not normal, then definitely I think there's a very high chance of you being a successful entrepreneur. Right? You are obsessed with something, obsessed, or you have a passion to do something, you have a passion to change something. It's a very important criteria to be an entrepreneur. Fired from job, that probably might not be very relevant to you guys because you are all in uh, your colleges right now. Maybe you can say the professor fired at you for not doing your project properly, maybe. Because you really didn't like that project. You wanted to do something else. Like as a chemical engineer, I wanted to do a project in material science, but I had to design a plant, so I didn't really do good in that. So that's, I mean, I'm just trying to give you an example. One of you might be a civil engineer and want to do a project in computer science. Your college doesn't allow you to do, and you don't do really good in civil, but you still make a very good computer project. That can be one thing. You resist authority. You are never relaxing. You are always moving, always trying to find something, always trying to do something which can better your life, better somebody else's life. And you cannot just go and sleep for 8 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours and you do nothing. Of course you sleep at night, but not, I'm talking about in day. You have, let's say, half a day off. You just go to home or your hostel and you just go and sleep there. And there's another person who has a passion, let's say, for developing an app, and he goes and try to find out how other people have developed apps and how he can develop app. So that's never relaxing kind of thing. Okay, whenever you get time, you do something which you are passionate or obsessed about. So then there's a good sign that you can be an entrepreneur. You're bad at small talks. I don't really believe in this one, but yeah, sometimes this is a kind of trait that entrepreneurs have. They like to talk at length about what they love about, but they cannot do small talks like talking about Bollywood, talking about politics, talking about whatever. So that can be one of sign, but not very important, I think. You don't fit the norm. This is pretty much as same as you're labeled as rebel or not normal, and that's good. I've seen people from IIT, from my batch, from my junior, from my senior batch. People used to say this guy is crazy, and these guys have actually worked really well, and they have proved themselves. One of the examples is, I think a lot of you guys know housing.com. Rahul Yadav from housing.com, he was completely labeled as rebel and not normal. And this guy just turned around the startup scene, and he became a celebrity, startup celebrity. You all must have read about him and seen him and all the same. So if you are not normal, then you are good. Don't feel bad about that. That's really good for you to be an entrepreneur if you're not normal. Okay, and there's nobody is normal. Some people just camouflage they're not normal with normalcy. Anyways, so what else do you need? Okay, these are signs that you can be an entrepreneur. What else do you need to be an entrepreneur? You need a very strong idea. Idea has to be to solve a problem or fill a gap. You see, I get a lot of question about this, that why the idea has to be new. Why can't we do something old which people are already doing? See, excuse me. a lot of time you see that two businesses are same, but they are not really same. There's some differentiating factor between two businesses. Let's take a grocery store around your home or maybe hostel or someone. Okay, one is on the right side of your hostel, one is on the left side of your hostel or home. And let's say on the left side, there's a lot of noise, a lot of stuff scattered on the road. You don't really like to walk on that side. And on the right side, there's another store, grocery store, which is very clean in the front. So now, in principle, from when we see at a macro level, it seemed to be a similar business. Both have grocery stores, both are selling the same products, but the right one does better than the left one. Why? Because he is solving a problem, he is filling a gap. He is solving the problem that people don't really like to walk through the mess and in the noise there on the left side, and here on the right side it is quiet and there's no mess there. Okay, so everybody is trying to solve a problem. No two businesses are the same. Now the only question is how big this problem or gap is. How big, the bigger the gap, bigger the problem, the better the idea, the better potential for scale up of the idea, and better potential for customers to come to you for solving this problem. Yeah. So you need an idea that solves a problem or fills a gap, but you need to find out first what the problem is or what the gap is, and then assess if this problem or this gap is big enough for me to put in my efforts. Am I passionate about solving this problem? Or is it just that, and most important thing for to become an entrepreneur is never become an entrepreneur to earn money. As you'll see in the first slide, Kabil Bano, and don't run after success, run after excellence. So when you do a business, when you become an entrepreneur, don't run after money. Run after solving a problem. Run after your passion. You should have passion to do that. Money will automatically follow. This is easier said than done. I understand, but at your stage, it is, I think, a lot easier to do also compared to someone who is in late 30s or late 40s. Because right now you have not tasted the sweetness of getting salary on the first of every month, so you don't understand what that means. And it's better that if you want to be an entrepreneur, you don't see that at all, because once you taste that sweetness, the bitterness of not having money as an entrepreneur for, let's say, 6 months, 8 months, 1 year, will be very daunting, will be very difficult for you to overcome. So second thing is, I think for me it is less planning and more working. A lot of people just plan. How can this be worked out? How can this be best work out? There's nothing like best or perfect. Good is good enough. So you do a planning, but not very extensive planning that for 6 months you are just planning. Do a preliminary planning, then start working. Things don't work out well, you do a second planning, which is again a short one, then you start working again, like that. Now, the third thing, why, as I said earlier also, you need a co-founder. Why you need a co-founder is because you need a lot of emotional support as an entrepreneur. You need to talk to people. You need someone who can be with you at 12:30 or 1:30 in the night, and you can discuss the business. You know, and sometimes you might feel like quitting the business, but that guy will not feel quitting the business on the same day. So if you have 2 or 3 co-founders, that is really, really good for the longevity of your business, for your startup. Being a single proprietor, sometimes you just feel like quitting it, and you lose interest in it, and you see that business is not coming. You don't have new ideas how to improve your business. You cannot brainstorm. People, even if you brainstorm with your friends, they are not really, they are not stakeholders. They're not really interested in finding solutions for you. So co-founder is a very important thing. Then I think don't quit unless a major change in market is very important. I'm not saying that never quit. You might have to quit at some point of time, but it has to be very tough decision. It should not be like you face an obstacle once, twice, and then you're just going to quit it because you're not able to solve the problem. No, unless the market is like throwing you out and you cannot find a solution, the market is not right for your solution right now, maybe you are too early or you are too late, you might have to quit. But give it a good try, fair try before you quit. Okay. And never quit is not the formula for an entrepreneur. You might have to quit, you might have to find a better alternative, but after a good thought, good one, you know. Okay. The next slide, Sandeep.
Yes, Mr. Trivedi. Please carry on.
All right, so that was about entrepreneurship. I'll take more questions on that if other people are interested in knowing more. So, this presentation is not just about entrepreneurship, it's also about landing a job, getting a job, and it's about career choices. In fact, you choose one career, entrepreneurship, or you choose another career working in corporate. It's perfectly your own choice. Nothing is good or better, or nothing is bad or worse than another one. Okay. So it's who you are is more important. You have to understand yourself. Yeah, for to be an entrepreneur, you have to see what are your signs. Are you able to do it not? Also, for a corporate job, you have to understand yourself, and this is one of the most important exercises you should do if you want to get a job. People put a lot of efforts on writing resume and contacting someone who can land you a job somewhere. Okay, these are all are important, but the priority, number one priority, is understanding yourself, who you are, what you like to do, how you like to do, like what your nature is. Once you understand yourself fully, what your strength, weakness, all these questions that you hear from interview, they're not bullshit. Actually, they are trying to understand who you are. So you should make their job easier by understanding yourself first, and then being very good at telling them that who you are. You know, how do you face situation, how do you face challenges, all these things. Okay, so you should give. My point is, you should give a very good thought on this question, on understanding yourself, and you should give a lot of time in doing this exercise. You'll find a lot of resources online to know how can you understand yourself, and you should explore those resources also. Okay, so after you understand yourself, you need to, of course, depending upon your hard skills, you'll see a sector where you want to work. You are good at coding, developing apps, or maybe you are good at selling. You'll see sectors for you, and maybe you are good at chemicals, civil, computer, mechanical, whatever your backgrounds are. So based on your hard skills, you choose a sector, and hard skills that you like, you choose a sector. Maybe you're from mechanical, but you still like a lot about developing an app, or maybe selling something. You know, you like to be a negotiator or something. So you have to select sector, you have to select your industry, and also your kind of role you want to do. Then, so this is done. Now the more important part is, that is the company. How do you select the company? Just the big companies in the sector, big companies who hire a lot of salesmen or something? I think here a lot of people do a mistake. You should do a lot of research in finding out the values, culture of a company. Does your value culture match with that company's value and culture? If it does match, if it is a fit, you will grow tremendously. And if it doesn't, then in 2 years or maybe less than that, you will find yourself, no, no, I'm not fit for this company, I need to have a new job, I want to move on, I want to move to a different sector, I want to move to a different company. I mean, different sector is all right. Sometimes people get bored of one sector, but 2 years is a too short period for that. But yeah, different sectors you can try. That also improves your personality and your knowledge, your skills. That's a good thing. And but I think you should find a good match for you at first. So you should do a lot of research on companies. You should talk to people. You should first shortlist the companies based on a website, visit them, see what they do. See, there are a lot of companies these days put their corporate videos online, go to YouTube, see their corporate videos, what they do, how they treat their employees. Does that match with you? Their philosophy match with your philosophy or not? Then talk to their employees, how they work. And particularly if you are interested in a certain division, talk to that division's employees and all. So these are the preliminary things that you have to do. And then you go to make a solid resume. And I'm telling you, this is in the order of preference you do it, right? So you understand yourself, and then you understand the sector, then you understand the company, and then you start writing resume. Most of the people, what they do is they just start writing resume first. You maybe a lot of you guys or someone from your colleges, people start writing resumes or CVs by maybe mid of their third year or end of their third year, as soon as they finish their project, third year project or BTech project, whatever different people call them. So that is something that should be done last, after, I mean, the third position, where when you have already understood yourself, what you are, who you are, and then you have actually made a fair list of the sectors and companies you want to work for based on all your research. Then when you start writing a resume, you know who you are and whom you are presenting it to and what they like to know about you. You know, so then you can write a good resume. Your resume, I mean, these are basic etiquettes. You can find them anywhere. There are a lot of resources to guide you how to write a resume, but I'll give you most important things that we see as a recruiter, and I have been a recruiter at a lot of places in my previous companies here also. So what I see is the most important thing is the resume should be easy on your eyes. It should be easy to read. It should not be like 10 pages of resume with a lot of graphics there, and somewhere bold, somewhere italic, somewhere it is font size 12, somewhere font size 10. No, try to keep one font size as easy on eyes as possible. Don't put more borders and designs in the borders and all these things, underlines. No, keep it very simple. Okay. Then it should convey clear information about who you are and what you do. Now, see, notice here, I didn't say what you do. I said who you are and what you do, and also in the same priority. You have to first demonstrate who you are as a person in your resume. Now, a lot of people get confused in this, like, how do I say who I am in my resume? So usually what you do is you write what you did, and you solve this problem, and you've done this project and all these things. Okay, that's fine. You've done this project. 10 other people have also done this kind of project, or you solve this problem. 10 other people have done solved this problem somewhere else in some other college also. Maybe you organized your whatever tech fest, or like we at IIT Bombay have Mood Indigo or something like that. You organize some cultural festival, technical festival like that. That's okay. A lot of people in different colleges they've done, but then how do you differentiate from them? Is who you are. Now you have to find out what was the problem, how do you solve that problem. That define you are, who you are. It's not just that you conducted a technical festival. Doesn't make convey a good message about you, who you are. Rather than you can say, even after I'm just giving a, maybe you'll have to rephrase the sentence, even after a lot of resistance from such and such group in the college, I found a way to convince them, and then conducted a festival with such grandiosity or with such a budget, even, or maybe budget was not there, but still found way to get sponsors, or depending upon what kind of job you are trying to land into. Like if you are trying to land into a sales job, then it's very good to say that you could find sponsors for it, but that means you have sold your festival to them. Yeah. So how did you find? And for some companies, it is very important to know how do you sell. So and who you, so you if you tell who you are, you can tell them how do you do things, how do you sell your product. Okay. The third point is concise achievements and not stories. Don't write stories in your resume. You have to show achievements, and that too in a very concise manner. Don't write I did that, and all these things. This happened, that happened, and then I did that. All right. And something which is I am very particular about is that there should be no spelling or grammatical mistakes. Proof check, proof check, proof check, twice, thrice, 5 times, 10 times. You do it, let anybody else, your friends do it. Make sure that they are as minimum as possible grammatical and spelling mistake. If you don't understand that, that's a different thing, but get it checked by other people who you think are better at English than you, or maybe whoever. Because this gives a very wrong impression about you if you have spelling or grammatical mistake. Because first thing is, people might think that you prepared this CV or resume in hurry and you are not very serious about the job. Or the second thing is, you don't really know how to write well, your communication skills are not good. Well, the CV is the first thing that tells about your written communication skill to the employer. Okay. After that, prepare a very good cover letter that tells something. Okay, tell something that your resume cannot tell. Your resume tells your achievement, but a lot of times you are not able to convey properly that in what situation you were in, how did you resolve that situation, and how did you arrive at your achievement, the results. So prepare a cover letter. Find out 5 or 6 stories from your life, academic, non-academic, everything, and then analyze them, see what qualities or your skills come out from these stories, write them really well, and then keep these 5, 6 different cover letters or maybe different phrases with you, and then gel in with the requirements of the companies. Like you are doing this, as I said earlier, you were pitching for a sales job in an MNC. Then you have to write how there was a problem, how did you got a sponsor for your festival, you followed ethics in doing that, because a lot of MNCs put a lot of emphasis on ethics. So you have to see the culture of the company, the values of the company, and then try to integrate with what you do and how you do. Okay. And also, I think it is very important to prepare for typical interview questions and rehearse them. It sounds very, very boring to rehearse, tell me something about you, or what are your strengths and weaknesses, but it is really very important, because as an interviewer, the person sitting across you knows nothing about you. All he has a resume and maybe sometimes a cover letter, but you have to tell him what you are. You have to sell yourself to him. Okay. So if you are not concise, if you don't properly understand yourself, you are the product. If you don't properly understand yourself, you are not rehearsed how you are going to sell to him, then you probably won't be very good at selling yourself to him, right? So you have to prepare for this standard interview questions, and there should be honest response. You should rehearse them. You should not fumble while answering these questions. They should be clear cut. Okay, I also tried to list down some skills that companies look for. And of course, as I said, different companies have different values and hence they have different requirements of the skills. And but there are few skills that every company need for in their employees. And mind you, these are the skills apart from your hard skill that you already have, like you're very good at mechanical engineering, and yeah, you do that work really good. You do good robotics. That is important. Apart from that, there are soft skills that companies look for also, because there might be two people who do really good uh, mechanical engineer. They are both maybe department rank 1 or department rank 2. Like in our IT, we used to have DR1, DR2. Now both are really good at, of course, mechanical engineering. But now what differentiates them is the soft skills that they have, right? Okay, so the essential soft skills I believe are communication. Like how well do you communicate? And if you think you are not really good at communication, you can practice and you can achieve that communication, right? Excuse me. So what do they look at in communication skills? One is the written communication. How well do you articulate your sentences? How well do you have the flow of ideas? You write one sentence, another sentence, they are connected, disconnected, they're talking of two different things, or they are logically flowing the idea from one to another. Then there's a verbal skill. Are you using the words clearly or not? Are you audible to people around you? Are you comprehensible to people around you? Can you arrange your ideas logically when you're talking, or you just go like blasting and you just have to vomit all your ideas at once? Or you can wait, you can listen to people what they are saying, you say something, then you listen to people what they're saying, then you have your reply prepared for that. Okay, so these are communication skills. Again, you have a lot of tools for that, and you can tell. I think Sandeep also will be providing you something on communications. So that is one thing. Yes, Sandeep, something to say?
Sorry, Mr. Trivedi, could you please speak again?
You want to say something on this? I said we will be
Yeah,
providing
definitely,
something.
definitely. So, Mr. Trivedi, as we had a discussion earlier, we have a program which is the Kabil Bano program, wherein we provide the students with 9 online courses. So, as you have rightly pointed out through this entire webinar, that communication skills, soft skills are also very, very essential. So, we provide 2 courses specifically for English language communication skills. So, the first is spoken English. What we have found
Okay.
out is that majority of the students in, let's say, smaller cities, they clearly lack even the most basic spoken English skills. So leave aside all the body language, leave aside all the advanced soft skills that the student needs, and so basically the students are not able to speak even proper English sentences. So that's the
Okay.
major problem that we have detected in the students, in the skills of the students in these cities. So we have provided 1 course on spoken English, 1 course
Okay.
on basic English grammar. So wherein the students would be able to understand, okay, if he is in this particular situation, how he should speak, what are the common sentences that he should use. For example, if he goes to the HR manager, what should he speak? If he goes out to, let's say, some shopping or vacation, what should he speak? How he should introduce himself or herself. So all these are common situations which are given in these 2 courses. Then we are giving courses related to Word, Excel, and PowerPoint, which would obviously be useful for all the students. Then we are giving courses related to exactly the same things that you mentioned about making a solid resume. How should the resume be made? What should be included? What should not be included? Then how should the students behave in interviews? Apart from that, we are also giving module on quantitative aptitude with a lot of practice tests. So all the material would be given to the students. So what is your feedback, Mr. Trivedi? How do you find the modules as I speak? What do you think about?
Excellent. I think they're really, really good and should be very helpful to the students there. And of course, I have not interacted with the students. I don't know what they're looking, like what stage they are.
Mhm.
But I think these are excellent material and should be really very.
So I would just request you, Mr. Trivedi, to just tell the students that they should all become very, very serious since they are in the final year. Many students are not serious. So please tell them that if they really want a job, if they want to move out of the college with a job in their hand, this is the time that they should become very, very serious.
A lot
Because,
of lot of students do that mistake. They think that it's very
yeah,
easy. They
exactly.
will get somewhere or another. But I mean, mark my words, it is not that easy. It might seem, but everybody puts in a lot of efforts to get a good job there. So you must put in efforts. I'm not saying that you sacrifice your life or you sacrifice everything for that, but then you have consistent effort. And this word consistent is very important. You cannot just work one day for 10 hours to find a job and then for next 10 days you don't do anything. You just 1 hour a day, but consistently do 1 hour. Be focused on that other. Okay, so let me finish the 2 3 more points. I'll finish these 2 points and then
Mhm.
we have a Q&A session.
Okay.
So other essential skills I have written down are teamwork, like your academic as well as non-academic teamwork. You have teams in your lab project, in your projects, other projects in academics. So you can show your teamwork there. You can also show your teamwork if you play any sports or you work for any NGO or some other organization. Okay. Then problem identification and solution. So how do you identify a problem? What relevant information you seek for to solve the problem? And how do you solve the problem? And do you use data? Because these days data has become very important. So you make sure the use of data in problem solution. That's really good. Then planning and organizing, as I said, managing your college festivals, you do planning, you say that first we'll get the tents, then we'll get the benches, then we'll get the stage and all this. Do some kind of planning, you organize for different vendors, you talk to them, you and all this. You can show this. And mind it, you have to show that this sentence means that I am good at planning and organizing. You don't have to write this word, but you have to write your resume in such a manner, or you have to answer your interview question in such a manner that shows that you are good at planning. And one thing that I think is really very important is you take initiatives to solve problems. You impress your work employees to take initiative to solve problems, to start a new one, to develop new businesses for the company. Right, so here we are at the Q&A session.
Sure.
I don't know, Sandeep, how do we do this Q&A session? I'll get the answers in my chat box or how?
Okay, so let me just give these students the instructions. So basically, students, uh, all of you, please visit, since you are on the event page, you can see on your right hand side the icon for iSkillscape, where you can see this picture of this girl, iSkillscape, and then you can see a question mark, and then you can see a dotted like icon, a dot like icon. So all of you, please click on that dot like icon, and as soon as you click on that, you would be getting two options. One of the options is Q&A. So please click on Q&A, and as soon as you click on that, on your right hand side, there will be a panel which will open, and there you can type in your questions. So if you have any more questions, if you have any questions, please do as I said. Click on the dot like icon which is there on the right hand side of the event page that you are currently seeing, and once you click on that, there would be a Q&A section, and once you click on Q&A, there will be a panel which will open on your right hand side, and then you can start asking the questions. So this is the way in which you can ask questions to Mr. Trivedi. So students, I hope you're listening. You can prepare your questions in maybe 1 or 2 minutes. In the meanwhile, I will ask a question to Mr. Jainendra Trivedi in the interest of the students. So, Mr. Trivedi, I have been to a lot of seminars in many of the colleges, and many students have this perception that they want to work for, let's say, large multinational companies. Now, I want to take your view also, because you started as an entrepreneur. And during my seminars, I also tell the students that if you get a job in a multinational company, there's nothing like it. But it's always much better to start your career with a smaller company, because you get more independence. You can learn a lot of things. What is your view, Mr. Trivedi, on that?
Yes, Sandeep, in a way you are right, and I think it's all very important. As I said, very important to understand yourself. If the student relates himself well with an MNC company, and an MNC culture relates himself well with a small company, with different Indian culture, or the culture of company is different from the MNC. If he can relate well, he'll do well in that company. So it's all related to the values, ethics, culture of the student himself, how he thinks, how he works, and then he should find a fit for that. There's nothing wrong in working with MNC or a small company or as an entrepreneur. You always learn everywhere. You learn different things. So if you want to learn discipline, process, and all these things, go to MNC. If you want to learn independence and a wider sets of skills, you can go to a small company. It all depends upon the individual, I think. Though. Uh, he or she should first understand himself or herself what who he or she is, what he is.
Sure. Mr. Trivedi,
Yeah.
sure.
Yes.
Mr. Trivedi, there is another small issue with majority of the colleges that are there in tier two cities. Most multinationals do not entertain many colleges because they have their own selected list of tier one colleges. So
Yes.
I think, in my view, the students should not just keep on waiting for the offers from multinational companies. This is one mistake which many students do. I mean, whenever I go and ask the students, they tell me that they want to work for Infosys, Wipro, or Tech Mahindra, or
Mhm.
L&T. That is fine. They want to work with them. But if there's an offer from a smaller company, I seriously think that the students should take an offer from a smaller company and then maybe work for 2 years and then they can shift to a multinational company. What do you think?
Exactly. That can be a career progression path for them, because they might be sitting for to get into Infosys or Wipro or some other IBM or Intel maybe
Mhm.
for another 6 months without
Right.
having a job, and then it becomes very difficult to get job even for a smaller company. So sometimes it is wiser to get into a small company, acquire the skills required for the MNCs, and then get into MNCs when your college tag is not really required for the MNCs. Like as a
Exactly.
fresher, they look at your college tag. Which college are you? Is that college in their list or not? If it is not there, they won't recruit you probably. But after 2 or 3 years, when got the required skills, you acquired those required skills, then you can go to these companies and they won't even ask for which college are you coming from. You have these skills. Okay, we like you. We can hire you.
Right. So this was the question that I had, and most of the other points that you have covered about the student's career are very, very worthwhile. And I seriously
Mhm.
hope that all the students learn whatever you have said, and they at least understand and try to implement all the points that you have mentioned in their career preparation. Do any students have any other questions?
I didn't see any question here. Is there any question?
No, I don't think there's any question as of yet. So if there are any students who are interested in asking any questions, you can please go to your event page, which the link of which I had sent to all of you. You can click on, so on the right hand side, top right hand side of the event page, you can see the Skillscape icon. You can see a question mark icon, and then you can see a dotted icon. Click on the dotted icon, you will see a question and answer app. Click on that app and you will see a panel which will open on your right hand side. If you have any questions, please do this, as I said, and ask questions right now. We only have 2 or 3 more minutes. So we are waiting for your questions, students. So, Mr. Trivedi, let me just ask you one more question. How do you see the market evolving, especially the jobs market evolving for the students? We are currently, let's say, in the midst of October. Do you think that the job market for engineers, especially freshers, would improve in the next 3 4 months? What is your view?
Yeah, of course. This is again the next season. Season for hiring comes around January to February,
Hmm.
and so And I think these companies get their campuses also. These colleges get their campuses also, right? So that's around January, February, somewhere.
Right.
So that is now the time is limited. They have
Mhm.
to put a lot of efforts on in the preparation because around January, February, a lot of companies start recruiting. And this year, it is expected the market will be better than the past few years. So they've got a lot of opportunity. They have to cash in on that opportunity now. They're preparing
Yes,
well.
definitely. So, students, as all of you have heard, that the market is expected to improve a lot, and if the market improves, there will be the jobs that are on the offer will definitely rise. But the only thing is that students need to be skilled enough. So that is the overall motto of our organization as well. So you need to be kabil to be able to grab those job opportunities and convert them into real placement offers. So please improve your communication skills. And one thing which again I would like to request to all the students is become serious in your life. 3 years have passed. Now you're in your final year. Become serious. If you really want to get a job, study all the material that we have provided thoroughly. I'm not asking you to spend 1 hour a day, but I'm just asking you to spend 15-20 minutes a day. I will not pressurize you too much, but study the material for at least 15-20 minutes a day, and so that in the next 3-4 months you at least improve your skills by 20-30%. And English is very, very important. So all of you, please focus on improving your English language communication skills. As Mr. Trivedi also pointed out, that practice is the key. So please practice, and please practice amongst your friends. This is all that I have to say. And again, on behalf of the Kabil Baro team and all the students who have attended this and who will be watching this recorded session, I would like to sincerely thank Mr. Jainendra Trivedi for taking out time from his busy schedule and interacting with the students for 1 hour. I think all his insights were all his points were deeply insightful, especially the one about entrepreneurship. So, Mr. Trivedi, we have one question here.
Okay.
So, can you see that question?
No, I don't see.
Okay,
Even
I'll read that question. So, what you can do is you can go to the left-hand side panel,
I
and
have this panel open, but I don't see any question there.
okay. So, what is more important? What is more important, projects or extracurricular activities from corporate point of view? This is a question
Interesting
asked by
question.
Saurabh Mishra.
Okay. Sort of good question, and it all depends upon the culture of company. If you go for Schlumberger, for them, if you do a research project, that's not really very interesting for them. You publish a paper, that's not really interesting for them. What is more interesting for them is that you play a lot of football, you play hockey, you can survive in bad weather, bad conditions, and you have a lot of stamina. Of course, because Schlumberger will place you in the deserts of Africa or maybe icy deserts in Russia or somewhere. So they want someone who is fit enough to survive in those conditions. They don't want someone who can do really good work in lab or who can do really good work in his home. At the other end, let's say Intel is there. So Intel is hiring for development, or Facebook or Google is hiring for a developer. They don't really. I mean, it's important to have an extracurricular activity, but they won't give you more emphasis if you have done nothing in academics. Your project is completely useless. You didn't do a really good project, and you are really good at extracurricular. Whereas there's another guy who is okay in extracurricular, but his project is really brilliant, and those skills can be used in in Google or Facebook or maybe Intel. The skills of doing the project can be used. So it all depends upon the culture of the company, the nature of job the company what the company do, and what differentiate where the extracurricular differentiate you is if you have a competitor who is equally good at the hard skills that you possess. Now the company has to differentiate. You have to choose one person between you and someone who is equally good like you in hard skills. Okay. So there your extracurricular and soft skills come into picture. right? So there's nothing like project is more important, extracurricular is more important, everything is important. It all depends upon who you are. If you are very much interested in extracurricular and you don't really do your project really well, you have to choose your companies accordingly. Then don't choose Intel or Facebook for that, right?
Okay. So I hope Saurav, Mr. Trivedi has answered your question. If there are any other questions, this is the time. We have just 1 minute left for the completion of the webinar. So if you have any more questions, this is the time to ask. So, Mr. Trivedi, thank you so much for taking out time. It has really been a pleasure, and I hope that all the students will benefit from your interaction, from the points that you have mentioned today. And I would like to thank you again. So, please have a nice day. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Sandeep. It was a pleasure to speak. See you all
Thank,
later.
thank you. Thank you. Bye bye.